Alternatives to incarceration. Wow, it brings up so many things. Let's first say, why are people arrested? I think there are obvious reasons. Murder is an obvious reason. Theft sometimes may be an obvious reason. I mean, I think capitalism is stealing from all of us all the time, and none of them will be arrested for theft. That incarceration is usually spoken of by the people who are in charge, in power. And it would make sense in a society where there's such a diversity of wealth, from most people being middle class and poor, and then a very few, what's called the 1%, being super rich. And a lot of what people are arrested for are the whims of the courts of the states and countries that they're involved in. So a white person in Texas can be arrested for a joint of marijuana and have a hand slapped and said, "Bad boy, don't do it." A black man can end up with 10 years in prison. So this kind of situation obviously needs an alternative to incarceration. In fact, it needs an alternative to racism. So we're talking about something complicated. There are many people working against the death penalty. I'm against the death penalty. Yet many countries had it for years. And now it's up to an individual state or country. One of the ways I tried to understand murder is when I was 18, I wrote to a lot of people who were on death row. And I didn't find any that I would want executed. So, one can say, where in the world are there prisons that are much more humanitarian? And probably the most well-known is in Norway. I believe in Norway the guards don't carry guns, and that the, quote, inmates have much more free reign of the place and can farm and have education. That's also in the US. So what do we mean by incarceration? Is it a place for a person to heal their unhealthy way of living in society? Is it punishment? I think punishment does not serve the society or the person who is incarcerated. What we would like is a world free of the need for incarceration. So I don't think that can happen under capitalism, because a few are so rich, and then it's all in the media that people want to be them, so people will do something to get arrested and sent to jail because they want to be like the super rich. And the super rich, if they were in jail, it was because they were found out for something, and I think some of us hope that'll happen with the current president. Not to hurt him, but because he is breaking laws. Okay, so ultimate fantasy. I think this is played out in science fiction writing. I can't quote one, but I've heard of it and seen films. One possibility is to have an island, a space signifying for those who are incarcerated, and it could be a place that is walled in such a way that they can do what they want within the walls of that incarceration. Be farmers, even go to university, and they have to stay in a confined area. And the idea is not only rehabilitation, but actually really helping a person who, in our current society, doesn't fit in enough to be arrested, to be prevented from being arrested. So I really, in my big fantasy time, imagine that there's a place that people who are sentenced to time in confinement that is so nice that you may actually choose to go there to personally grow into a healthy human being. That would be a fun thing to create. In a way, it's a parallel to the hospital we're trying to create. A person has a bodily or a mental sickness, and the prison might be a place where a person had a social or governmental, quote, disease, and you would go there to heal, and heal in a holistic, healthy way. So that, I think, are alternatives to incarceration. I think if we want to prevent illegal, dangerous, violent behavior, theft, we need to take care of everybody. I think one of the proposals, maybe the most important one I recommend for everything, is to teach the intelligence of loving K through 12, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week for 13 years. To really ingrain to us, as we need a language training to learn to speak in a language, to learn a love training so that we can be loving. That's a biggie. And if that school that taught loving also taught relationship to nature, relationship to the arts, didn't have any grading, taught a sense of social justice for all people, I'm feeling a freedom from a need for prisons. And now instead a need for persons, not prisons.